part 2 of factoring a trinomial. Alright, we're going to jump right to x squared plus 8x plus 12, and we're going to set up our baseball diamond on the side. So we draw a little baseball diamond. At the top we put a times sign, at the bottom we put a plus sign. We look at the constant term in the polynomial, the 12, and we put that at the top because that results from two integers being multiplied. We put the coefficient of the x term right here because it results from two numbers being added. And now we start thinking of factor pairs of 12 that add up to 8. Did you figure it out yet? Factor pairs of 12. If you're having trouble, get your multiplication chart out and start with 1 times 12. 1 plus 12 is not 8. 2 and 6. 2 plus 6, well, we have it. Now if we had to keep going, we'd go 3 and 4, but we aren't going to need those. So it's 2 and it's 6. They multiply to make 12 and they add up to 8. So right here, they're both positive, by the way, so we just write plus 2 plus 6. Now it doesn't matter, the 6 could be here and the 2 could be here, because order doesn't matter when we eventually multiply these two out. Mentally check it. X times x will give us x squared. The x times the 6 will give us 6x. And the 2 times the x here will give us 2x. That's 6x for the outer term, and the 2x for the inner term will make this 8x when we add the like terms together. And finally, 2 times 6 for our constant term is 12. It works. Alright, x squared minus 9x plus 14. Let's set up our baseball diamond. Constant term, 14 at the top. Now watch what I put at the bottom. I put a this goes inside and a times sign goes up here. Okay. Now the minus 9 goes here. Notice I put a negative sign in front of it because we're going to need to think of it as negative because it's subtracted. And this one comes from being added. So we're trying to think of two numbers that multiply to make 14 but add up to negative 9. So you start doing your factor pairs of 14, 1 and 14. Now, because they multiply to make a positive number but add up to a negative, they're both going to have to be negative. Negative 1 and negative 14 add up to negative 15, not negative 9, so that doesn't work. How about 2 and 7? 2 times 7 is 14, and if I make this a negative 2 times a negative 7, they still make positive 14 when I multiply them, and they also add up to negative 9. So my corners are negative 2 and negative 7. So watch how I write the binomial. X and x, and then it's going to be minus 2 and minus 7. And a mental check. X times x is x squared. Multiply my inners, minus 2x, my outers, minus 7x, and that minus 2x and minus 7x do add up to minus 9x. And then negative 2 times negative 7 is 14. It works. Alright, I'm going to ask you to try the last one by yourself, and here's a hint. Slip a 1 right here. I'll help you get the baseball diamond set up and you take it from there. We'll put a times sign at the top, plus sign at the bottom. The constant term is negative 30. See why it's negative 30? The minus sign in front. And the added term is a negative 1. See if you can find a factor pair that multiplies to make negative 30 and adds up to negative 1. Then tune in to the next video to check your answer.